In conflict-affected and high-risk areas too, the mining and trading of raw materials provides for income, growth and prosperity, and leads to the safeguarding of people's existence and the promotion of local development. However, there's the danger that companies contribute, either directly or indirectly, to negative effects, such as, for example, human rights abuses, corruption, and the financing of armed groups. If minerals such as tantalum, tin, tungsten and gold, mined and traded in conflict-affected or high-risk areas, are linked with human rights abuses or other wrongdoings, they're designated conflict minerals. The conflict and high-risk areas include the Democratic Republic of Congo, Angola, Burundi, the Central African Republic, the Republic of the Congo, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda and Zambia. Until the present day, trade in the minerals mentioned has been affected by violent conflicts in this region. For almost 15 years now, the local population of the DRC region has faced systematic exploitation in the fight between rebels and members of the National Army for control of the mines and trading routes. This is not restricted solely to the Central African region cited, but is unfortunately found in many other areas of the world. The minerals are important raw materials for numerous products and find their way into the international supply chains of many companies around the world. This calls for such companies to assume due responsibility in the sourcing of materials containing the relevant minerals. This topic is dealt with in the OECD Due Diligence Guidance for Responsible Chains of Minerals from Conflict-Affected and High-Risk Areas, and has also been addressed by the legislators in various regions, including the United States of America and the European Union. Since the mining of these ores represents one of the largest sources of income for the local civilians and is therefore indispensable to them, imposing an embargo and stigmatizing the regions concerned would most likely be an inappropriate response to this issue. Instead, transparency within the supply chains should support the responsible sourcing of mineral and, as a result, protect human rights and cut off the sources of income for the warring rebels. A common approach to implementing these disclosure requirements has been defined by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Companies listed on U.S. stock exchanges have to declare annually whether they're using minerals from the DRC region in their products. They must also prove that they've done everything possible to ensure transparency within their own supply chain and to ascertain the origin of the minerals. The collective desire for transparency certainly represents a major challenge in today's globalized world. Siemens is supplier and customer at the same time, as not only does the company sell to its customers, it also buys in goods. As the company is active in around 150 countries and has direct suppliers alone numbering almost 90,000, it's no easy task to meet the requirement to exercise a duty of supply chain transparency for conflict minerals. After the minerals have been mined, they're traded or supplied by intermediaries, such as local processors or exporters. After smelting or refiners, they are then further processed by suppliers. The complexity of instances along the supply chain of minerals is highly diverse. Currently, some 10,000 mines and some millions of further processors are in place, while current estimates put the number of smelters at around 500. Moreover, after the smelting process, it is impossible to track the derivation of ores by means of analytical fingerprints. Consequently, reliable certification of smelters and the supplier routes up to the mines is necessary for a cross-industry exchange of information. Monitored by independent audit companies, these smelter certificates help to ensure minerals originating from certified smelters can be deemed not to contribute to the armed conflict or the violation of human rights. Across industries, companies are jointly promoting this approach by means of several initiatives. Standardized documents, such as the Conflict Minerals Reporting Template, facilitate information exchange and due diligence while creating greater transparency. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, also supports the cross-industry initiative to reduce individual efforts and create international standards. Siemens, too, supports this comprehensive approach, while using the standardized template for information exchange with suppliers as well as customers. The extensive requirement for transparency and certification of smelters refiners will drive the responsible sourcing of minerals throughout the supply chain. With a joint strategy and a common approach, Siemens is confident that the implementation of these steps will also have a positive impact on transparency in the supply chain. But in order to achieve the greatest possible levels of transparency within our supply chain, we need commitment from all our suppliers to drive the identification and certification of smelters in the supply chain. Please find additional information on the responsible sourcing of minerals, including Siemens positioning and statement at public.siemens.com/responsible minerals. Internal intranet.siemens.com/responsible minerals.